Hey everybody, ¿qué pasó? Let me just make sure. All right, good. Make sure we're online here, looking good. Looking good. Ought to be in Hollywood. Appreciate y'all being here this evening. Just got done taking the puppies for a walk. Looking good. That was fun. As you can see, I need my reading glasses more and more. Hey, Harry, Vaughn, Jill, Linda. All right, hey, thanks, Linda. The Celtics going to go down in 6 is my prediction. Hey John, I'm looking forward to the Stanley Cup. Actually, the Lightning in Colorado should be a good and a fun series to watch. All right, so we're waiting for people to get started here. Let's just make sure we're good on Rumble. Yeah, looking good. So we're good on Rumble, and we should be on. I think we're on Facebook here today too. I just never. Sometimes people show up on Facebook, sometimes not. Sometimes people show up on Rumble, sometimes not. And I only pay for the 3 things. I can access 3 live streams at once: Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, or something else. And I only got 3 channels to do that. One of these days I'll up it. Hey, Chuck B in the house. Tom, Michael Lewis, who had written Beanball, right? Denise, 2 Denises in here. I want to share with you guys something. All right, so let me ask you guys: have you all ever heard of the Carrington effect? Let me see what you guys say. This I'm telling you, man. This is going to blow away your mind. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Only 112 in Phoenix. Damn. Jeez. I am on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, I guess. Oh, I am on Facebook. Okay, cool. Thanks, Jill. Brian, K. Paso. Never heard of the Carrington effect. Okay, that's okay, Dean. That's okay. Let's see if anyone else has heard of the Carrington effect. I'm telling you, man, this is nuts. We got Dean, good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you fart. The more you fart, the better you feel. Then you're ready for your next meal. All right, so we just got a Carrington effect. Anyone's heard of the Carrington effect? All right, we got Doug Casper the Ghost is in the house. Dougie Fresh Casper the Ghost. Let's wait for a couple comments to come in here real quick. Yes, right? Oh, that's neat. Yes, as in a solar storm. So you've heard of it, have you? All right, good. All right, good. I figured Denise, because she's from Wisconsin, and those Wisconsinites know a lot. Is there another? No, that's you're on the right path. While we're waiting to, hey Robert. So while we're waiting on people to, I guess the Carrington effect. That's the Care Bear effect, Vaughn. Solar burst, right on. Robert Squires. Yep, solar burst. Yep. It's an incredibly interesting phenomenon for those who are worried about like EMPs and things of that nature. In fact, there's a book back here. Dan's in the house. Yeah, Carrington event. Right on. You got it, Dwayne. Yep. A very good book that this guy Bill Fortschen, who has written a couple of things with Gingrich, had wrote 1 second after. It talks about EMPs, and I got a lot of the prepper community. Not that book, but we've been worried about EMPs for a long time. I got something in my eye. The Carrington event. That's right. You got it, Dwayne. Carrington event. That's what it's called. Did I say that on my thing? Carrington event. But anyway, so it's been around for a while to get a lot of preppers worried about. Am I going to delete the chat before? I don't delete the chat, Denise. I don't even know how you do that actually. Hey, what are you growling at, Growly? Anyways, the Carrington event had a lot of preppers worrying about EMPs, about solar storms, sunspots, and whatnot. Anyway, it's very interesting. So I want to show you guys something. You got to subscribe to this guy's freaking channel. This guy is awesome. Howdy Mikulski, this guy right here. Howdy Mikulski. It's so here's a Carrington event from 1859. I'm just going to read this, and I'm going to share with you something that's going to blow your mind. If you're at all like I am, who's followed the prepper stuff, the EMPs, the solar effects, the solar sunspots, the global cooling scam that is now a global warming scam. Looking at the supposed Carrington solar event of 1859, things became very strange. The historical event does not seem to be in the historical record until after the year 2000. I would be interested in hearing from you, because if you have run into information or on this event, because the more I look, the less I find. I said, look, I love Howdy. This is my new favorite YouTube channel right now. He had written the book right here, Exposing the Expositions. Folks, I'm telling you, Howdy McCoskey. This guy is freaking. This is insane. You're gonna be. Your mind is gonna be blown about the World's Fairs and the expositions. It's freaking nuts. Anyway, so I started looking for. I started looking at I literally just watched this as I was listening to Howdy as I was taking the dogs for a walk, and I started looking. I said, that's interesting, because in prepper realm. The Carrington event has been a big deal for a long, long time. At least I thought a long, long time. And so then I said, let me just go to newspapers.com and see what we find. And check this out. Newspapers.com. We're going to go I did Carrington event and that right there and those things. And I said, we're going to go to ad range. And I could not look at that. Nothing until the 2010s, a little bit in 2000s. Nothing until the 2010s and into the 2020s. Why was there nothing about the Carrington event? This doesn't make any sense, man. And even that, like if you go here, here's a Carrington event. This isn't even the Carrington event. This is actually an event with a guy named Carrington. It was like a boxing match, if you will. Look at this. Well, this is from 2014. Excuse me. I want to show you. I was going to show you guys something here. Well, let's just read that. I'll show you what. Okay, so if this truly happened, so check this out. Let's see. If challenged the notion that the Carrington event was the all-time mother of sun flares emanating to Earth, it was a biggie, but maybe not the biggest. Beware the Charlemagne event. Milot's nod to the 8th century king. So in 2014 and 2013, everyone's freaking up in arms about the Carrington event, saying, "Oh my goodness, the Carrington event." But check this out. Let's see if we can go to this. I tell you, man, sort by date, oldest. Here's 18. We're going to go to, hold on a second. I'm going to show you guys. Because it happened in 1859. It was such a big deal. Look, here's Carrington and event. That's not a Carrington event. Carrington and event. Carrington Society event. Carrington Center there. Carrington. There's nothing about the Carrington event at all until 2000s. And yet the Carrington event was like the biggest thing that ever happened in terms of sunspots, solar storms, the whole thing. I mean, literally, it was the beginning of the EMP. It's nuts. Why was no newspaper writing about that? And so if we go to newest, it doesn't make any sense. The so-called Carrington event right here, EMPs, electromagnetic pulse. All right, here we go. A Carrington event. Yeah, somewhere, let's see, along the way, let's see. Solar storms such as the so-called Carrington event of 1859, the notion of a man-made EMP attack was somehow overlooked. And we know about this from the guy who used to do Nightline, Ted, whatever that guy's name was. You know what I'm talking about. I got his book, Ted, I can't remember his name. Ted something or other, who did Nightline. He wrote about it in a book called Lights Out. So the Carrington event's a big deal. And yet no one talked about it when it happened. There's no newspapers about the Carrington event. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Doesn't make any sense. And so then I'm sitting there thinking, Ted Koppel. Yep, touchdown Ted Koppel. Yep. And so check this out. This is crazy. So then I said, okay. And then I did right here. If I can get this to share. Hold on just a second. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you have nothing on the Carrington event until literally 2010, unless there's some kind of plan thing? And I don't know what it is. I just like, this doesn't make sense, man. All right, let me open this guy up real quick. Sound like eyes drive me up the wall. There we go. And this from the Washington Post. Now, on newspapers.com, there isn't a Washington Post. You have to have a separate Washington Post subscription, so I'm not going to buy that. But this is from newspapers.com. if I can see it. I guess I can't. I was trying to get the. Hang on a second. Let me just bear with me just a second. You'll be glad you did. Hold on just a second. I'll show you guys this. All right. Shoot. Maybe I won't be able to get it. Hold on just a second. Oh man, why I can't get that? That stinks. Anyway, scientist claims pollution could trigger new ice age. That was in 1971. And we know for a fact there was a global cooling scare. And the scientist who said that wasn't some crazy freaking loon. He was one of the head guys from NASA. Who also was saying by the end of literally by right now, we'll have man on Mars, and we'll have satellites, or not satellites. We'll be living on Mars. There'll be men on Mars right now. This was a NASA guy, a big scientist, the chief something of NASA. And he said, yeah, by the first quarter of the 21st century, we'll have people living on Mars. And he said in 1971 that pollution is going to lead to a global ice age. Now, and when people say, oh, there's no global warming, global cooling scare, yes, there was. So literally it went from it was all the way up to about 1979, by the way, global cooling. And then just magically like that, the 1980s happened, and it changed to global warming. Anyway, the whole point is everything is fake, dudes. Everything. I don't even know I was reading a guy today. He's like quoting the AP to bash the left wing for something. I was like, the fact that you're still quoting the Associated Press as if it's a legit news source just shows me that the right wing hasn't learned anything. You can't quote the media to validate your own stuff and then turn around and say how bad the media is when they don't validate your own stuff. The media is either honest or it's not. And we know for a fact it's not honest. So even when they're pushing an agenda that you support, it's not an honest media, my friends. It's just not. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I said, man, the Carrington event, no one was talking about that until basically 2010. The biggest solar storm, sunspot, the EMP of all EMPs, electromagnetic pulse. Was it fake? Crazy, man. Crazy. All right. Inside out shirt. Yeah. Sorry, Jill. Sorry. Yeah. Once again, West Virginia. Hey, what's up, man? Right on, George. It's 1859, Donald, the Carrington event. 1859. And nothing. No, I mean, like, what is this? All right. It was an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, but it wasn't human. It's crazy, man. Anyway, I find that stuff incredibly interesting. There are M-class solar flares every week. No big deal. It does affect GPS, but no EMPs. You know what I'm saying? Big head Koppel. Right on, man. Well, there was electricity in 1859. I mean, they were able to generate, just not the way they're able to do it now. That's for sure. It's actually interesting too, because I did not know this, but Tesla was not a big fan of Einstein. Pretty interesting, yeah. Something that doesn't need cooking. It's actually 100%, John. John says when Y2K didn't take us out, they need a new fear. I completely agree, brother. I completely agree, man. Yeah, right here. My son has something he hooked up to his SUV to protect from EMP. So basically, the idea behind the EMP, is that it's going to fry all electric parts, all electric components. Everything that's electric will be fried. So you need some kind of protection, supposedly against EMP. At this stage, I just don't believe anything. I just like, dude, okay. I can't. And the reason I can't is because I can't show it to you. But if you just see, there's nothing on the Carrington event until 2010. Everyone, their mom says Einstein was a brilliant guy and all that, and then Tesla challenges that. Isn't that interesting, Tesla? And there's a lot of interesting stuff. You start reading books like this, like, man, there's so much more. And that's what makes the world so just wonderful. There's just so much more we don't know than there's the narrative. You know what I'm saying? And it's just fun to read, man. It's fun. If you're contrarian like I am, you enjoy challenging the mainstream narrative anyway. It's just it's an addiction. You're like, man, whatever they told us, they're wrong. And then you start saying, like, I'll tell you right now, I come to the conclusion based on the what I had shared with you earlier today on how they're going to get our guns. That globalization is dead. Is 100% free trade is dead. I'm no longer a proponent of that stuff. Now, if you want to do free trade internally, that's fine. But just I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to find it in this real quick. But how the South was, yeah, right here. I'll just give an example for this. Um, why the United States probably is going to become like the Confederate States of America at some point, just like Europe is no longer sovereign, just like the South was no longer sovereign. And I'll just share with you why here real quick. And if you watch that video, take it that many views. I'm surprised. I thought it would because I said how they're going to get our guns. Ooh, but right here, among the liabilities of the Confederate States of America was their dependence on outside sources of supply for many of the essentials of life. These outside sources had been in previous years in North and Europe, particularly England, excuse me. A lady writing 20 years after the cessation of hostilities remembered that the great fall of the Confederacy lay in its dependency on outside supply from everything from a hairpin to a toothpick and from a cradle to a coffin. Whereas the South possessed the necessary resources needed to manufacture these items, it had been so busy growing cotton that most other commodities were conveniently imported. Does that remind you of anything? The South possessed the natural resources to manufacture pretty much everything they need, but they had been so busy growing cotton. America has all the stuff we need to manufacture everything, but it's been so busy growing financial markets that we rely on China for steel. I mean, hell, China for pharma now. We rely on cheap labor from foreign countries. I mean, it's we're so busy in economics. We call this comparative advantage, which completely works until it doesn't, and then everyone's like, "Huh?" Now you can say the South brought that on themselves by succeeding essentially when they didn't have the manufacturing capability. I'm like, well, aren't we kind of doing that right now? By going after Russia when we don't have our own production of oil, as Sniffy Joe is getting rid of pipelines, not allowing for new nuclear plants to be built, new plants of natural gas, oil, coal mining, all that. Aren't we kind of do that to ourselves? What's our one export is green energy, ideas, and financial paperwork. That's it. Yeah, and we had all the manufacturing we could possibly imagine, all of it right here. We don't have any steel. It's all come from China. And by the way, you're not freaking smelting steel with solar panels. It's not happening, my friends. You need some serious heat for that. It's not coming from electricity via a solar and wind. It's just not. It's just freaking stupid. I'm sorry, it's dumb. And then I posted earlier today about some admiral who says the grain isn't getting out of Ukraine. The grain because the Russians blocking the Black Sea. He says we can't transport by land. There's too much. You can't. Most of transportation of goods are 95% via ship, and the ships can't get out of port. Now I always kind of chuckle because the ships aren't running. If they're running on nuclear, hey, that's carbon dioxide free, but they're not. Most of them running on diesel. And as such, we're sitting there thinking we can't move product, can't fly. And then I was reading this too in freightwaves.com today. Let me see if I can't find this article. And then we'll just go into questions or comments that you all have about retirement planning. And by the way, if you have a question specific for me, make sure you put it in caps, would you? Yeah, right. Liberty 1776. I was bashing. Now I say bashing. I was taking issue with a little bit with him not too long ago, but 100%. 1982, we went to a financialization of the economy. Could not agree more. I'd actually argue started under Carter, frankly, but Carter to Reagan, 100%, man. Financialization of the economy. And we said, hell, our main export is paperwork pushing, leverage buyouts, all that stuff, and, collateral debt obligations and stuff. Anyway, so let's see if I can't find this article. This is actually kind of frightening in its own. Anyway, Howdy Mikulski, if you guys, I'm going to share you this. If you're interested in establishment in terms of non-established history and the way to see things, Howdy is freaking fantastic. Actually, he's got a thing. It might. Can I just post? Did I post that? All right. An error occurred. Wait a moment. Okay, good. there you go. Right on. Yeah, right in. See how Daisy did that? Do that. Yeah, right in the cap so I can come and see who's how he did a thing is very interesting to me. He says, was Jerusalem actually in South France? Interesting. I haven't watched his videos or read his blog post on that, but I saw that. So that's pretty interesting. All right. So I want to share with you just real quick, right quick, and then because this is actually pretty frightening. Look, folks, I got 4 kids. I'm actually optimistic as all can be. I'm sick of the freaking doomsdayers saying, "Oh, it's all bad," because the freaking trans stuff. Who cares? I literally trans people. I mean, I don't like the drag queen story hour. I'm not taking my kids there. You're not taking your kids there. These people are nuts. We all know this. It's stupid. That is the fact of a high living society. That's a fact, and the fat at some point can't survive on its own. I mean, it's just we're just living too large, and there's going to be corrections, and corrections will put things right. It's just the way it is, man. I mean, the society is decaying in a lot of ways, but the society is still much better in many, many other ways. Just this right here. How many good people I met from freaking Google? And I can't stand Google, but Google owns YouTube. And how many freaking awesome people have I met via this platform? Tons, tons. It's fantastic. How much have I learned outside of the mainstream media because of YouTube, because of alternative sources of media via the interwebs? Tons. How much has my mind expanded? I had to learn how to change the thing for the dishwasher the other day. YouTube. How to learn how to change the thing for the fridge. YouTube. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. It's just there's a lot to be happy about. To focus on, look, and you can't vote your way out of this. It's not. And I was listening to this guy today. He goes, look, even no matter what you feel about this, at the end of the day, the only thing you have control of is yourself. And the more you get distracted and angry and say, I'm going to find who's doing this, like if you're in who is, what's his name? Klaus Schwab, he needs to be held accountable. The more you're focused on that, the less you're focused on holding your own self accountable for how you want to live your life, if that makes sense. And that was just such a good kick in the rear. It's like, look, you can go down these rabbit holes as I do. I find it fun all day long. But at the end of the day, if you're just always chasing that dragon of wanting to make sure that Klaus Schwab and freaking George Soros and these peds, Steve, what's his name, who did Raiders of the Lost Ark, those guys, that they're held accountable. All that time you're spent is on stuff that you have no control over, and you do have control whether or not you live according to how you want to, which is doing the things you enjoy, being with the people you love, and that's all you can control. Anyway, the point being is, yeah, the gas prices are way high. I get all that. It sucks. Freaking stupid. Doesn't have to be. We got insane people running the show. I get all that. At the end of the day, though, man, we're still held. Did you know in Massachusetts, it was literally illegal in the late 70s to homeschool your children? It was illegal. They took kids from parents who homeschooled their children in Massachusetts. I'm sure there's other states as well, but because I read a book probably a year and a half ago. I interviewed the lady who wrote this book called Unschooled, and it's very, very interesting. It's illegal. I remember reading a John Grisham book. It's probably written it 25 years ago. I forgot what it's called. Where this is in Mississippi, where a guy was carrying a handgun illegally. Why was he carrying this handgun illegally? Because it wasn't registered. And that was in Mississippi. This was not in Massachusetts or New Jersey. This was in Mississippi. You could not have a handgun on you unless it was registered. That's Mississippi. Now you can. For basically almost every state, not only can you own a firearm, and I know that they're passing some stupid law. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it's like you can still own a firearm with basically, sight unseen, essentially, which is good. That's what free people should be able to do: get a firearm without having to prove my mettle and my ability to shoot. It's none of their friggin' business. I have a right to self-defense, but I have to go through a test. Anyway, the point being was that was in Mississippi. So literally in the last 30 years, abortions have gone down like a brick in water. The right to own firearms has gone way up. In fact, that has been now, most people recognize the Second Amendment as not a way to lock up your guns so you can go to the freaking quail hunting range. Most people recognize it for what it is, a way for self-defense. I think that's been solidified because of Scalia. So the Second Amendment is 100% solidified. I mean, it's always under attack. Don't get me wrong, but still, we have won that debate, and it's always under attack. You can't rest on your laurels. The abortion debate is winning. We're winning that debate. We've lost some. I mean, this trans thing is crazy, but I'm not that worried about that. I'm just not. The homeschooling is taking off. The public schools are losing. In fact, here in Fulton County, I mean, that's the thing in my eyes driving me crazy. Here in Fulton County, half the schools are like, or what did it say? I think it was a half the schools are like half capacity in Fulton County, Georgia, which means there's less teachers that can brainwash your kids with crap stuff, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? And that's here in Fulton County, Georgia, the bluest county of all Georgia, probably. What, 75 Biden, 25 Trumpster? According to real documents, because my vote counted, just counted for the wrong guy. But anyways, that's good. That's good stuff. We want people out of schools because the public schools are the beginning of all brainwashing. That's a fact. We know for a fact that colleges are going to be taken on the chin. Just not enough kids think it valuable enough to go to college anymore, which is good. There's tons to be optimistic about. Tons. So focus on that. Now I forgot what I was talking about. I was going to show you guys something. I forgot. All right. Oh yeah, let me show you guys this. This is anyways, and I was actually talking to my daughter about that today, and she kind of got me on there. I was like, man, because I talked about the drag queen story hour, and I was like, this is a sign of a society that's falling apart. And we got to talk. She goes, really? I got to turn my fan on. All right, here we go. So I'm going to show with this guy. Yeah, right here. Torpedoes in the water. Now this is freaking nuts, man, about the about trade. So if I can get down here, hold on just a second. I want to show you right here at the time. So the new people in the FTC from Biden, who actually I can no qualm what they're doing. I've done that. Doesn't mean I like Biden. I don't. But they've already blocked 2 vertical mergers, Lockheed and Aerojet in India, whatever that's an arm, which is groundbreaking. And Cantor is attempting to block the Penguin Simon and Schuster merger on labor and speech grounds. Interesting. The merger guideline rewrite will likely include a host of new ways to enforce antitrust law among big conglomerates. Microsoft and Activision is one such transaction. Amazon's power and cloud computing is another, and Facebook's roll-up of firms in virtual reality is another. We all know the dominant incumbent platforms are most threatened at the moments of transition. These moments of transition are also ones that create the greatest chance of competition and create the greatest chance of entrepreneurs and startups to really enter and inject more competition in the market. She vows more muscular antitrust on private equity deals. All that's good. I got no qualm in the least. But she's a Democrat. Yeah. Oh, okay. Right here, price discrimination in pharmaceuticals. We talked about that. I did a video on that a couple months ago about the middleman right here. Khan highlighted the role of the powerful middlemen in the economy. Research documents how gatekeepers and dominant middlemen across the economy have been able to use their critical marketing position to hike fees, dictate terms, and protect and extend their market power. Yep. This week, the FTC voted to investigate middlemen in the pharmaceutical industry, known as the pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs. And Matt has written about PBMs a number of times. They're large firms that negotiate rebates and fees with drug manufacturers, create drug formularies and surrounding policies, and reimburse pharmacies for patients' prescriptions. Each significant PBM is a major part of a conglomerate like CVS or United Health, and these middlemen are known to be abusive towards independent pharmacies and consumers. Yep, determining which drugs can be prescribed and what they cost. The industry is filled with kickbacks and corruption, leading to anger among doctors, patients, and pharmacists. Yeah, 100%, man. So let's keep going because there was one on there's a new book by this Catherine Judge. That name sounds familiar to me. The Rise of the Middleman Economy. Anyway, there was another thing in here too on freight. Let's go to freight. Yeah, FreightWaves right here. How we all paid for shipping giants $150 billion windfall. Let me stop that. I look, man. This is freaking. Don't just be a partisan hack and say, yeah, I mean, you gotta. There are things that can be done. Unfortunately, the Republicans haven't done it because we know the Republicans are knee deep in the hands of big business. The Democrats are too. We know that for a fact. But if the Democrats are doing something that the Republicans should have been doing, well, I give the Democrats credit, man. How we all pay for the shipping giants $150 billion windfall right here. Right. This is a huge, some of you guys, I've dealt with a lot of merchant marines, a lot of captains on Maersk, is that what's called, whatnot. This is a 24,000 unit boat ship. That I mean, it's crazy, man. Look at the size of that thing. That isn't coming over land, my friends. That's coming via water. Look at the size of that thing. Anyway, it's a great article. Let's see. As a reminder, the top 10 ocean carriers control 80% of the industry. 9 of them are organized into 3 alliances, and in 2021, they earned $150 billion in profits. Not $150 billion in sales revenue, in profits. Through the 2010s, ocean carriers continued to build larger and larger ships, even as ocean rates and trade volumes were falling. What motivated that? Hey, this is a great article, if I can think about it. A diesel mechanic, 4,000 sign-on bonus, but you got to live in Minneapolis. Who wants to do that? I think many competitors, right here, I think it's a choice of one carrier, Maersk, to use an even bigger class of ships and kind of as a weapon to get some of the competitors out of the market. It is about slightly lower cost, but also I think many competitors would not be able to follow that race to ever bigger ships. So we know what happens. And now let me see if I can't put that link in here. I'm not sure I can. I think I can put it in the chat. Sometimes I hear you can't put links in there. So what happens is these companies know what they're doing. It's a loss leader, and they can turn around then and give away the product and get you hooked. And then what they do, they charge exorbitant rates once the competitors are out. Very interesting, is it not? And that's freightwaves.com. Freightwaves.com. And that's my man, Matt Stoller, Stoller, Matt Stoller, big fan. And I like Matt because while he's a lib, he's not a, and I hate to ascribe that to him. Maybe he did, I don't know. But in the short time I've been following him, he's never said, I'm a Democrat, but I'm sure he probably is. But at the, when all said and done, I think he's fair. All right. So let's see what you guys want to talk about. All right. Ted Turner. Let's see. I saw acid rain right on. Yeah. Venison tacos and red wine. Wow, man. The Earth's magnetic field is flipping poles, which controls the climate. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So did the Carrington event happen in 1859? Well, that's the thing. We've been told it did, but basically it's only out of nowhere we were told. Crazy. All right. Shake and bake. Harry says my 1971 Suzuki is his answer to EMPs. Yep. Funny. Yeah, I don't know if the military has EMP weaponry. I'm not sure. I actually, frankly, at this stage, I think the military is broke. So, Academic Agent is a great political channel. I don't want to like political stuff. Like Tim Pool does stuff on politics. That doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I find it of interest. Anomaly I like a lot. Every now and again I'll watch a guy who's doing something on what's that guy? Every now and again, but that the day-to-day political stuff, I don't care. I just all right. We have heard that California farmers have been forbidden now from diverting water to maintain crops. Is this true? What are the farmers going to do? Sounds like Colorado, where they got bans on rain catch systems. Isn't that crazy? Yep, the Western U.S. has run out of water, 100%. Yeah, there's not enough lithium in the world to support an EV in every drive. We all know this. I'm 100%, Tom. We know this, and yet they act like it's possible. Pulverize says that Russia is not blockading the Black Sea. The Ukrainians have mined their harbors and sunk ships to block Russian vessels. Well, what I don't literally, I could care less. I'm just saying at the end of the day, the idea that we're going to have everything in electric trains, transported from China, and Russia and freaking Latin America up here. It's just silly. I mean, all right, here we go. How much are Feds going to raise interest rates this week? Are they meeting this week? Probably 75 basis points, I'd imagine, Daisy. 75 bips. So there you go, 75 basis points. It's interesting too. Is anyone's bank account paying anything yet? Are you getting more than 50 basis points on your savings account? All right. Oh man. They say the blockade is Russian, but since the biggest issue is Ukraine, that's what. There you go. Commercial ships won't get in. Right on, man. Look, I don't want to say much more about the Ukrainian Russian thing. My loyalty is not with Zelensky. I don't want to say more than that. Let's put it that way. But if you're trying to protect your rape of a country, you're going to spend $40 billion. Did you see the post I made earlier today? Earl Grey, another guy you should follow on YouTube. Love this guy. I just came across him literally like 3 days ago. He's literally in St. Petersburg. Is a British expat living in St. Petersburg, Russia. Apparently, a Ukrainian general was just busted with like millions of dollars, just crazy, leaving Ukraine. It sounded like trying to go to London so he could buy real estate. So if you're wondering where our 40 billion went, there you go. There you go. Right there. Thanks, Sniffy Joe. I'm sure there's lots of. They probably secure Medicare payments closer than they do the Ukrainian money, if that makes sense. And the reason I say is because they don't secure Medicare payments at all. Lots of Medicare fraud, and no one's really paying the price for that. And so if the Ukrainian general is getting busted in London with millions of dollars of various currencies to buy real estate, that's American taxpayer, just so Sniffy Joe can protect the documentation about how him, Paul Manafort, what's that guy's name? The brother of what's his name? One of Hillary's henchmen, and his Tony Podesta. That's what it was. So John Podesta, he got just a freaking idiot because he gave away he goes, someone emailed said, I need your password so I can your account's been hacked or something like that. And he gave it to him. He had all this insane stuff. His brother, Tony Podesta, was knee deep in with Paul Manafort and essentially the rape of Ukraine. And so it was bipartisan for sure. Lindsey Graham, John McCain, never mind Snippy Joe and all the other friggin' what's her name up there, Amy Klobuchar, whatever the hell her name is. It's just all corrupt, man. It's corrupt. And you're not going to get reprieve from voting for these people. I'm going to vote for Herschel Walker. I'm going to vote for the Republican because it makes me feel good. But at the end of the day, that's the third time I'm trying to watch why I say that. I know it's not going to do anything. It's just, I'm going to do a little bit. You got to vote locally, but it's still satisfactory to say I exercised my right to vote, even though my vote was counted for the other guy. But that's saying the other Donald that Ukrainian might be up to doing bad things. How dare you? How dare you say the blue and yellow could be possibly wrong? Dan says people have too much time on my hands. Oh yeah, 100%. I don't look. I'm stoked about the future. I am. I mean, look, there's always issues, but geez, I don't know. I mean, some days I'm not, but more often than not, I'm freaking stoked. I tell you, the Great Awakening. There's so many people who heretofore. Oh, that sounds pretty. Heretofore. I got to come up with another way to sound sophisticated. Probably start by not having my T-shirt on inside out. Probably start with not having a T-shirt on first and foremost. Having I'm gonna be like some of these YouTubers on financial planners with their suits and. I did that for about 2 weeks when I first started this channel, and then I said I'm not doing that anymore. What was I getting rid of? I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, how can you not be optimistic? What's my thoughts on RFED I don't know what that is. RFETX. You got to put it in caps if you guys would be so kind, so I can know that you're asking me a question. RFE. Oh, American Funds. I like American Funds. Big fan. Big fan of American Funds. Yeah, it's just the cool kids. Once we get hardship, that's what I tell my daughter. I was like, once we get a hardship, all this stuff it's a fat, man. It's no different than regular fat. We're fat because we've had too much to eat. Once the famine comes, we won't have too much to eat, and then we'll get back to a fighting weight, if that makes sense. And this is just the fatness of a society hasn't had a famine in a long time, and it's not a trajectory like that. There is going to come a famine, and I mean, I don't mean it like we're all going to die like the video I did earlier today. I mean, when things get tight, just watch how quickly. Oh, I'll do a video on that. I'm going to do another video tomorrow on men and how men still are needed, no matter what the trans people say, no matter what the gays say, no matter what the feminists say, no matter what the liberals say. Men are still dominant and forever will be. And the women like men who assume the role of men. That's just a fact, Jack. I'm going to share with you evidence that part and parcel in a video I do tomorrow. The proof of that, which is strong, dominating men. You don't have to be an ass. You don't have to freaking, you don't have to be a dick and, get in people's pants and leave them high and dry so they have abortions. That's all I'm talking about. Men who take care of their families and assume leadership and command and say, hey, I will be there to protect and provide. That's what women want, man. That's all there is to it. And it's historical. That hasn't changed now. I mean, it might change in Wall Street and corporate boardrooms. It will change just like that when hard times come. No one's going to look at Sheryl Sandberg and say, help me, Sheryl. She's like, I don't know what to do. It's actually funny. I saw this guy. He posted a video today. There's I guess some chick had a hose coming out of her car, and these two guys were following her, trying to wave her over so they could say, you got a hose coming out of your car is in a bad place, you got to get it fixed. So she finally pulled over and ran to him screaming bloody murder, Karen-ish. I'm calling the cops, you guys are harassing me and following me. And the guy's like, dude, you see you got a hose coming out of your car. Your car is about to die, and we're not trying to harass you. We're trying to tell you. She goes, rah, 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 rah. And then she went back to her car, saw it, and she goes, rah, 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 drove off. And it was funny, man. I said, Karen, believe it or not, you're not as attractive as you think you are there, sister. You know what I'm saying? Look, there are some ladies who aren't that attractive. I know that's crazy talk, but who really men aren't trying to get with you all the time. Let's just put it this way. Anyway, there's going to be this renaissance of men. I think it's coming. Sadly, you got a lot of fake guys, but I think it's coming, a renaissance of men assuming the role of men, not being friggin' wimps, not being feminist men. Oh, young ladies, probably no young ladies out there, but tell your daughters, stay the hell away from a feminist man. There's nothing good about a feminist man. Feminist men, bad. Everything's bad about a feminist man. Stay away. That's bad. So there's nothing good about that. And I'll share with you that later on. All right. Retirement question. There we go. Cool. Given the tumultuous nature of current economic situation, is it wise to wait until after 2024? Seems, I don't understand what, is it wise to wait to what? To retire until after 2024? I'm not sure there's no question here. Is it wise to wait until after 2024 to do what? I'm assuming to retire. All right, so let's talk about Robert's question here. I'm going to put words in his mouth. He says, is it wise to wait until after 2024? And again, I'm assuming he means retirement. Appears very similar to the 70s. Folks, we have this scenario all the time. One more year. I'm going to wait until the cows come home. I'm going to wait until I freaking can bench press 315. I'm going to wait. Was it 305? It was 135, 225, 315. I'm going to wait until this. I'm going to wait until that. I'm going to wait till I have 1 million. I got 980, but I'm not retiring yet. I'm going to wait till I have 1 million. And now I'm at 870. Oh, thank goodness I didn't retire when I was only at 980. Look, you got to do what you got to do, my friends. I'm just saying the idea that retirement is sitting out there just waiting for you to come join it. And it's wait. Oh, if you want to wait till 2024, I'm still here. We don't know if you're going to be here. We don't know what the market's going to be there. So let's fast forward to 2024. So my man says it seems like it's very similar to the late 70s to him. All right. Would you have retired in 79? No. So is he saying he would have retired in 82? Would you have really retired in 82, Robert? Would you? No, of course you wouldn't have. You know why? Because 82 was a horrible time to retire. During 1982. 1982 was a horrible time to retire. Huge recession, huge interest rates. The stock market was down to PE ratios at 8. You're not going to sit here and tell me that in 1982 you say now we're at the bottom because Paul Volcker is going to rescue us. No, you weren't going to do that. You were not going to do that. You would have kept going and kept going. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just saying I've heard this 1,000 times a Sunday. I'm going to wait until it's better. I'm going to wait till things level off, things straighten up. Like what? What's going to be the impetus to do that? Oh, Trump comes back. Oh, the Republicans take over. No, man. No. The Great Recession, the financial crisis, happened under George W. Bush. That's a fact. That's a fact. The 1980 to 1982 recession happened under Reagan with the Senate that was Republican. That is a fact. Price and wage controls happened under Nixon. That is a fact. So, I mean, don't tell me that the future is better simply because it's bad now. If you're saying this reminds you of the late 70s, there's no way you would have retired in 1982. None. Come on, people. It's easy to say after the fact, look, 1982 was great because 1982 to 1999 kicked ass, took names. Well, are we in 1982 now or are we in 1973? I don't know. You don't know. No one knows. Are you guaranteed a tomorrow? No. Again, maybe I'm biased. I cannot tell you how many people, stories, anecdotes, I get it. But it's evidence. Anecdotal evidence is still evidence nonetheless. It's empirical. It's observed. I waited too long. I have more money than I know what to do with. I hear that at 10 to 1, then I'm running out of money. Now, again, I'm completely anecdotal, completely biased, completely subjective. But can we stop this? Look, again, Robert's going to do what Robert's going to do. Stephen Wilburn is going to do what Stephen Wilburn is going to do. But I'm just sitting there thinking, I literally don't understand this idea that 2 more years is going to be better. Why? Well, we have no clue. And then to use that to put that past comparison into here. Do you guys not remember in 1982? You all do, I guarantee it. The 30-year treasury, what's up, Grouse, was paying 15.5. Short-term money was paying 21%. Mortgages were like at 18%. The difference between that now is we have a hell of a lot more debt now than we did back then. That's just a fact. Interest rates are never going back up there. I mean, literally, I can't say never. I don't. But we can't afford because that would make our interest payment the number one line item of the federal budget. We don't have the money for that. Not going to happen. All right. Now, I don't know. I don't think that's going to be the case at all, though. I think what's going to be the case is Japan, no growth, low growth. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I've never been to Japan. It seems like a clean, well-run country. A lot of people just do what they're told, which would drive me insane. You know what I'm saying? But seems like they got a good life. They're eating a lot of rice. They're healthy, eating a lot of rice and fish. Attractive people, seem very friendly, I guess. I don't know. Maybe if you're in Japan or not, I don't know. But that's where I think we're going, Japan. Which means low growth, low interest rates, low inflation, low unemployment. You're probably not going to be able to get a lot of labor done quickly, because there's not enough young people. But so you're going to be living on things that what you used to be able to get fixed quickly probably won't get fixed quickly. What you used to be able to get shipped quickly probably won't be able to get shipped quickly. In fact, I put an order in 3 weeks ago now for some, or maybe 2 weeks ago for some freeze-dried wheat flour. Not here yet. Taking another week to get here. I don't know if that's happened in Japan. I have no idea, but I'm assuming that's going to be more and more the case where things take longer to get here. things take longer to get done. An older population, less young people, less young people wanting to do laborious work too, by the way. See what I'm saying? Now that could change with a big sudden crash in the economy where people just digging ditches. Say, man, I'll be happy to dig a ditch for you. I don't know. But I think we're going the way of Japan. And I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing that ever happened. I just don't. What I am saying, though, is I don't think the inflationary times are going to come like 1970s. But even if they do, all right. I mean, working an extra couple years, what's that going to do? Well, I get to save more. Okay. I got no qualm with that. I get to save more, which means I have to spend less for my portfolio. I got no qualm with that at all. But the idea that I'm going to put my retirement contingent on this reminds you of the late 70s, or this reminds you of the 1931, or this reminds you of anything. I literally don't, I don't understand that reasoning. Spectre is the one to fear. I don't know what that is. I just think Arlen Spectre. Ugh. 520 and only $5 for diesel down there. It's $5.50 for diesel up here. 615 in California. Smart person once told me to strive to be as wealthy as possible, and politics will have little effect on your personal life. Yeah, define wealthy. John Grisham's book, The Reckoning. Well, was that it? We had he had to go to his dad's. His dad died. His dad was a judge, and his dad died down there, and he had to split the house with his drug addicted brother. Grisham books are really easy to read. Good books to read. A little bit fanciful, but I enjoy them. I enjoy Grisham books. Georgia Costco gas, 414, Illinois, 539. Yeah, 100%. Guns are needed when seconds count, and the police are minutes away. Or in the case of that place, Uvalde, 85 minutes away, right? That's what I heard. Yeah, 100%. Public schools are based on the Prussian model. They want little citizens they can mold into not being free thinking, creative individuals. But yes, sir, no, sir, right away, sir. It's actually sad how, I don't know if you ever heard the origin of I pledge allegiance to the flag. It's actually kind of scary. It's frankly quite frightening. I pledge allegiance to the flag. You're like, oh yeah, it's creepy. It's almost like there is I hate to say fascistic, but because that just sounds so trite nowadays. Like, oh, you're a fascist. I'm an anti. But I mean, like a government corporate allegiance to say we're going to make little workers so we can live off the labor of our slaves, essentially. And I'm not trying to demean real live slaves, but you know what I'm saying. And the way they did that's through the school system. It's actually kind of scary. Wait a second. Wait, who? Whoa. Everybody look at this. What is wrong with the Monopoly Man here? Everybody look. Anyone see anything wrong with the Monopoly Man? What is wrong with him? Who wants to? There's something wrong with this guy. What is missing for the Monopoly Man? Let's see if anyone can see it. What is missing from the Monopoly Man? Look at John the Wise Tushy. Nice. Monocle. Right there. Monocle. Yep. No eyepiece. Yep. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? No eyepiece. We all know the Monopoly Man had an eyepiece. We all know he did. Yet they're going to say we're misremembering the eyepiece. That's the Mandela effect. Isn't that crazy? Dude, it is real, man. We know the Monopoly Man had an eyepiece. And when people say you're just misremembering it because Mr. Peanut, you're like, huh? Because Mr. Peanut? That doesn't make any sense. Well, Mr. Peanut had a top hat and a monocle and a cane. That's not the Monopoly Man. That's what their arguments are. They're going to say, oh, Mr. Peanut had a monocle and he had a top hat and a cane, so you're putting that onto Monopoly Man. So I don't even know what, I didn't see him. I didn't have a TV growing up, man. So who was Mr. Peanut? I didn't even know what the hell Mr. Peanut was. My 5 grandchildren are being homeschooled. Yes, by my brilliant daughter-in-law in conjunction with the home. Schooling Co-op. Oh, dude, that's freaking fantastic. Are they in Maine there, big guy? Hey, Doug. Okay, Denise paid off her mortgage. Man, how awesome is that? Yeah, right on. Jeff, I completely agree. Monkeypox didn't stick. Isn't that weird? Because I guess the word got out that only certain sexual proclivities were getting hit with the monkeypox. Actually, I don't think it had nothing to do with that. I chuckled that a little bit. There's a guy who said he had sex with 10 unknown men. And he's really upset because he also has HIV. And he's really upset that someone didn't warn him about monkeypox. He literally had sex with 10 unknown men. This guy has HIV. And he got the monkeypox. I think it was in UK. He's mad about something. I said, dude. All right. $10 a day to go to work. That's freaking nice. There you go. So Robert, right here, like my man says, I don't remember what Robert does for work, but costs him $10 a day to go to work. 10 times 20 work days, 25 work days, $250 a month, plus the cost of your car, plus the yeah, right. I'm saying, yeah, that's Jeff. I'm just going to read you something my man Vox Day said, which I thought was critical. Read this for a second. Yikes! The CIO of One River Asset Management said investors must seriously consider the collapse of Europe, as whatever it takes doesn't work at 8% inflation. And if it collapses, you know what's not going to collapse? US of A. Because we still kick ass. This guy, Earl Grey, that Russian expat, the British expat living in St. Petersburg, he posted on his video. He was with two guys, one from South Carolina, one from North Carolina, one from South Carolina. They're in Russia, drinking beers and fishing with a big old pickup truck. And he said, "Yeah, I got in trouble by the wife." I said, "Man, that freaking, here's a British expat in St. Petersburg drinking beers with two Southern guys in Russia fishing. I just, if that doesn't make you happy, I know. Look, I'm sure the same thing happens. I'm not angry at Ukraine. The government freaking sucks donkey balls, but the Ukrainian people I got no qualm with, none whatsoever. I mean, hell, of all the stuff the Ukraine had to go with because of commies, I can see why they're hesitant about Russia. I get that. But their government sucks, but their government was imposed on them somewhere similar to what happened in the good old US of A. So let's check this out, what my man says here. I thought this was actually kind of enlightening. Yes, the U.S. presidential election was, you know what I'm saying, even worse than the 2000 and 1960s elections. For example, there's literally zero chance that someone got more votes in Minnesota than did Obama in 2008, Obama in 2012, and Hillary in 2016. Somebody got more votes in Minnesota than Obama or Hillary. There is zero statistical chance of that happening. Now, we know why that happens, because of mail-in votes. And again, I know some get mad. I blame Trump. I can't blame Trump for the mail-in votes. I don't blame him for that. You can't do anything about that because the states can control the vote, as well they should and should continue on. However, Trump had Mike Pence. Trump allowed for his Trump. I don't like Trump. Like, who was he bashing the other day too? He's like, "Oh, Bill Barr." It's like, Trump, you're the guy. Put him in there. Come on. Anyway, so Mike Pence, Trump turned it all over to Pence, and Pence turned it over to Fauci and Dr. Birx, and the rest is histoire. And Stephen Deace was talking about that. I remember in freaking June of 2020. Yeah, 2020 said if Trump loses, he can blame himself because his choice to allow Fauci and Birx and from Pence to take over basically the running of the government, and that's Trump's fault. Now, Trump's probably a very good delegator, but he made a mistake, and as such, we had mail-in ballots because everyone is scared off their butts of voting. It happened to Trump. It did. At the end of the day, it's going to turn out for the best. I really believe that. I really think this is going to turn out for the best. Can you imagine Ivanka and Jared having 4 more years to control the government? Ivanka, eh, eh, see ya. Get the hell out of here. You and Jared. Jared's a clown, man. I don't like any of those guys. Ivanka, what the hell does she ever do? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. All right. No bailing president this time. I completely agree. 100%. Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. But remember, they're going to allow the Republicans to win to keep us the red versus blue, the false dichotomy. That's how they do it. Oh man, if you just vote and give money to Ted Cruz and Trump and Nancy Pelosi and whoever, Kamala, you just keep voting and give us money and post stuff on Facebook how these guys are holding you down. We're gonna be good. It's like we know how this works. Every now and again they throw a bone to keep us at bay. I get it. My man's been retired 45 days, man. That's awesome. All right. DeKalb County, more blue than Fulton. Yeah, that's freaking crazy. Yeah, but I actually think they're going to allow the red wave to happen this year. I just don't think it's going to do that much, frankly. I don't. I just don't. But yeah, I'd rather have the red wave than not. I'd rather have the Republicans control of the House, which is where the purse strings come. But Republicans who were control the purse strings before weren't like they were miserly. That's for damn sure. So I'm not expecting much there because Republicans don't know how to say no to the media. That's the issue. Don't you know that there's some person in San Francisco doesn't have anything to eat? The Republicans are doing nothing, and now you're gonna have all the Republicans fighting. Oh, we want to do something for that guy who's got nothing to eat. See that way. I'd like for the Republicans to take over the Senate so they can confirm justices, but at the end of the day, I just don't think they're that good at that. You look at all this, the Warren Court, all Republicans basically by and large. Then Nixon had all these guys were Republicans. Why? Because the Senate was run by the Democrats. The Democrats had to approve the Supreme Court people, which are all liberals. Man. David Souter, liberal. The list goes on and on. Anthony Kennedy, moderately liberal. Sandra Day O'Connor, moderately liberal. It just goes on and on and on to the break of dawn. And because what happened. Now, on the other hand, what the Republicans do? Sotomayor. I think was she approved by the Republicans? Maybe she was not. Trying to think who the last justice was. And Mitch McConnell did good by getting Merrick Garland not to go up. That was good. Wasn't Sotomayor approved by the Republicans, though? Maybe she wasn't. Kagan was. I can't remember. Was Kagan anyway? Long story short, but even that the circuit judges and all that, all these guys are libs. They all get approved just like that. Republicans don't do a damn thing. Hey. But with that said, if we do win the presidency back in 2024, it'd be good to be getting more Republican judges on there. Let's not use the Federalist Society so much. I don't know if you guys listen to Viva Barnes, Robert Barnes. He cannot stand the Federalist Society, not the magazine, the guys who write the blog, but actually the Federalist Society of Judges. I completely agree. I was made aware of how bad the Federalist Societies are or is. All right, let's keep going. All right. Keep going, my friends. Appreciate y'all being here. All right, good. Got good turnout here so far. We'll go over to Rumble, see if Jeremy's on here. Hey, Jeremy. Yep, there's Jeremy and Ronald Sherry. What up? What up? What up? What? All right, we got some people on Rumble. Appreciate y'all being here. Yep, Monocle. Ronald and Sherry. I tell you, everybody knows Monopoly Man had a monocle. All right, let's go here. Look at Joshua. He's going to be 70 miles per day. Got a job close to home, 8 miles per day. Counting my blessings. That's freaking awesome. You can homeschool in Mass. Now, you couldn't before. It's illegal. When's the primary in Wyoming? Anyone know? I can't wait to see when. I hope Liz Cheney gets sent back. And oh yeah, there are always going to be too many uninformed voters. 100%. 100%. Bring back the Clipper ships. Yeah. The Columbus Clippers. Are they still the minor league teams, the AAA for the New York Yankees? You think Cheney's done? Is Mitt Romney's not up in 2024 though? I know that. Yeah, the Utah governor is freaking. Oh, you're saying Utah super woke? Their governor's super woke. Romney's the Utah governor's a freaking clown. What the hell? That guy's he's a Democrat who pretends he's a Republican so he can win. And I don't know how that guy. I guarantee they split the primaries. They always do. Romney's going to try the same thing. But but he's not up till 2024. When's the Wyoming primary? Ice core samples show 1859 event occurred. Yeah, I'm not saying it didn't occur. I just find it interesting that no one was talking about it until 2000s. Even though we know we can't say we know for a fact, but apparently there is lots of devastation from the EMP that happened. And everyone's just like, man, kind of weird. Ah, look at Rebecca, 18 days till retirement. It's awesome. Rebecca is freaking fantastic. That's awesome. Proud of you, ma'am. God bless. I retired in April. Sequence of return. Yeah, that's why you do Monte Carlo planning. Monte Carlo planning, while it has a lot of issues, it still can give you the downside mitigation that says, look, if I am in a downside risk, will I be able to survive this? You're right about Colorado. People that own water rights banned it or helped with legislation. Yeah, what I'm saying. Illegal to own rain catch systems in Colorado. I don't know if it's a county by county. I don't know. Isn't that crazy? Nuts, man. Yep. Allied Bank is paying 0.9% on savings. All right, good. Wow, getting 2.5% down there in Panama. Michael said he dropped his retirement application on Friday. 30 June will be his last day. Man, that's freaking awesome. That's awesome. Didn't Afghanistan? I still don't understand why did Russia invade Afghanistan? I still don't get that. No, you don't, Dan. I have to cut down on ribeye steaks. I forgot to post this video. I show you how you can make great steaks, ribeye, for cheap. Ribeye steak. I'll just tell you the secret. Ribeye roast. Buy ribeye roast. I cut them up in an inch and a half. I'm telling you, man, ribeye roast. You don't have to do like a roast. You just cut those suckers up. I did that. I got, I think I spent $50 on 6 pounds of ribeye roast. I had steaks. We had it Friday. I just had one for dinner tonight. We had it yesterday for fajitas. 4 meals of ribeye roast for $50, man. And it tastes freaking good. 3, what I put? 4, $5.50 on each side. Done. $5.50, then 4 minutes. What did I do? 4 minutes on each side? Something like that. Done. It was good. Good cut too. Don't forget Denver cut. Denver. That's so apparently the ribeye. There's like the main ribeye everybody knows about. On the other side of that, like looking at it, is this. I want to say the ribeye flank or ribeye chuck. I think is what it is. But everyone's like, oh, that's not that good. And a lot of times they'll ground it up into ground beef, and that's called the Denver cut. And if you look at it, it's literally it's delicious. You'll never notice a difference. I'm telling you right now. I learned that when I went to my meat cutting class down here in Georgia and Atlanta with the Pine Street Market. Anyway, so it's a Denver cut. I think it's like ribeye chuck, ribeye roast. I can't remember, but man, get that ribeye roast, dude. Oh man, that was good. So you don't have to cut down. All right. All right. We got Sriracha has announced they've stopped production due to drought. No peppers. I had to run out and buy 3 bottles. It's like ketchup for me. Oh, Sriracha sauce. Okay, gotcha. Whoa. Sriracha sauce has now say stop production due to drought. Crazy. Just remember, people forget. I hope you're watching Tony Heller's YouTube channel. The idea that this is anything, people forget what happened in the 1930s, and Tony will allow us to make sure you don't forget. 1930s were brutal, and yet there was little CO2. I don't even know what sriracha sauce is, but it sounds good. Cooking dinner. I'm sorry I'm late. Let's let the meeting begin now. Right on, man. Sticks. Um, was that too much? Wasn't that? Oh, that's such a horrible song, especially from that band. Oh, they were so good in the 70s. Oh, my goodness. Foreigner, Styx, Pat Benatar, all those bands. Georgia voting scam, most corrupt in the country. I don't know about that. There's a, what was I listening to? Jill, you hear about the guy in Pennsylvania who just got, I think he got sentenced to jail for, and he used to be a congressman for stuffing the ballots in Philadelphia. Now they just busted him for 2014 and 18, but I'm sure he was as clean as wind-driven snow in 2020. But he just went to jail for ballot stuffing. But no, I'll get banned on YouTube if I say there's the election could be suspect. All right. They tried to convince me to stay at his job. Actually said no. They give me a control number that day. I said no, cool. Hard times make strong men. Yeah, but I don't want to be strong. I like to be easy times and easy life. That's what I like. I like to think I've already done my hard times. That my strong men stuff has allowed me to be on the easy street, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. I'm the guy's off grid with solar and batteries. If you have any more questions, awesome. Yeah. So ask my waste of time. Forgot his first name, but ask my man here. He's been around here for a long, long time. If anyone's got questions about solar panels and batteries, you got rooftop or ground. I forgot what I think he said rooftop. I think he said he's got 9,000. What did you say? 9,000 kilowatt battery bank. Is that right? And he's not grid tied. This guy's literally, so a lot of people think they're not on the grid because they have solar. Well, they're grid tied. You're on the grid. That's the whole point about being grid tied. If you don't have batteries, you're not grid tied. You're not off grid. And that's not this guy here. The ignorance about solar, how it works, is mind boggling, actually. Yep, let the women be the women. Absolutely. Kevin O'Leary, top suit with pajamas and slippers. Oh man, that's funny. There you go. Denise says we need strong, dominant men. Exactly. 100%. All right. Retire in 2022, November. Perfect. How dare you, Dan? All right, here's my man, Northern Captain. Bigger shits generally lead to lower freight rates, be it container cargo ships. Over my 47-year career, my last tank was 10 times the tonnage of my first. That's crazy. Well, that's what they say, lower freight rates. But according to that article, freightwaves.com is not reflected in the consumer prices. Like, look, I'm ignorant on this. I just read that article because that's interesting to me. And apparently there's a lot to do with the ports and not wanting to dredge the bottom. It's a great article. Freightwaves.com. I find it fascinating as all can be. And basically what happens is the alliances get the towns to do whatever they want to have these big ships coming in. And they say, we're going to give you lower freights. And it turns out not to be the case. Now, this is obviously one side of the story. I don't know what the other side is. However, when you start having minimal competition, it doesn't take a rocket science to realize that might not be good for the consumer. That's for sure. But anyway, my last tanker was 10 times this ton of my first. That's crazy. Yeah, maybe. Is that the bad thing? uh, I completely agree with this, man. Tensions between people are way overblown these days. Like, man, 100%. There's gonna be a race war. Man, there's no. Enough of that. Could not agree more. Suggest I stick with financial topics. Oh, okay. Well, man, next time I'll make sure John Kennedy approves of what I talk about. How dare I talk about what I want? Pablo, should we listen to Jay Kennedy? What do you say? Give me a kiss if you say yes, or just sit there and look forward if you say no. Oh, so Jay Kennedy, you can go kiss my big fat behind. I'm going to talk about baseball. I'll talk about football. Talk about hockey. I'll talk about dogs. I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about. You, my friend, don't have to be there. It's that simple. Blue Moon ice cream. Okay, 100%. The biggest roadblock to retirement is fear. Yeah, but just because you're fearful doesn't mean you're wrong. I mean, my man, it's like he's nervous. I get it. I'm just saying 2 years ain't going to change anything. There's a Dano. He waited from 65 to 67 to retire. Jim's saying he's retiring in June and he ain't waiting. That's freaking awesome. If you if your daughter has a husband who uses I cannot believe it's butter, you will not have any grandkids. 100%. I cannot agree more. I cannot agree more. Yeah, Chuck B. I completely. If the change of the market caused you to wait, you were not ready. I completely agree, man. Completely agree. Hey, my man Harry, 2 years ago today, he hung it up. That's freaking awesome, man. Oh, my waste of time says I got cancer. What made me realize to retire now and live before I die. 100%. 100%. Look at him. Oh, he's so cute. You want to say anything? No, no. Are you doing okay there? If you don't have debt, it makes it a lot easier, Jeff. And I don't know, on top of my head, I don't know what that guy's issue is. I just can't remember. But I'm just saying, if you got no debt, it's a whole lot easier to live frugal than if you do have debt. If you're carrying debt into retirement, you know for a fact you're gonna have a bill to pay until that debt's paid off. You okay? Oh, thanks. Fish Master Dan says, I love my videos. Just getting started on planning and wait. Oh, is Jay Kennedy okay with my dog on the channel? Oh, does that make you feel bad that I got a dog? If I wanted a dog channel, I would go to it. If I want to see dogs, I go to a dog channel. Oh, man, I always cracks you up. I suggest you do. Look, man, you're not the first who told me that. I just don't care. Look, I got my freaking shirt on inside out, man. Oh man, my man was laid off once for 10 months. Dr. Berg, yes, Doctor. I know who you talk about. Oh, you okay? You get Pablo. You're gonna come here. I have a love for the Navy. Oh boy, that's a problem. That's a problem. Let's see. I think Liberty 1777, 1776 was the Navy guy from the YMCA crew. If you know what I'm saying, Mr. Roper would not approve. All right. What else? You guys questions? And tons of good news, man. Tons. Look, I mean, I get you health, wealth. You live in America. You can still go to church. You can still read the Bible. You can walk without having a stupid diaper on your face now. You know what I'm saying? Tons of good news. Come on, man. There's always good news. Jesus died for your sins. If that's okay for me to say to John Kennedy or Jay Kennedy that we talk about Jesus, how dare I? You're going to offend the people who don't believe. Don't care. I mean, come on. The good news is all around. Come on, hallelujah, baby. Tons of good news. Did Jesus die for your sins? Yes or no? Yes. Did Jesus rise from the dead? Yes or no? Yes. That's all the good news you need. And nothing else is needed. Come on. Don't get too, you can't get too down on current events. Come on. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. So we got some Marines on here. We're going to have to really cut it down on talking. 2 syllables or most. Pablo. You can't say Finn again, my other dog, because that's 3 syllables. Pablo. Finn E. Cup. Phone. 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 Marines think you spell Phoenix with an F in the U.S. Marine Corps. I'm going to Phoenix, Sergeant. All right. Do you know how to get there? Yes. I'll just look for the sign that says F-E-N-I-X. Phoenix. Woo, nada. Yeah, man, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. I keep trying to think what will rebalance our logistics issues. People will buy less as prices rise, so demand will lessen. Logistics people, and now raw materials adding to our loads. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Our own Spectre. Oh, horrible, horrible human being. Do I have any thoughts on RERGX? I'm assuming that's American funds. It's all foreign, Little Pacific, 4.98 in Massachusetts. Oh, it's gas. Let's take a look. If it's American funds, I like American funds. So if it's American funds, I'm a fan. Yeah, there you go. American Europe. Yeah, Europe Pacific Growth Fund. I have not looked at it in many years, but I'm a fan of American funds, and that was always a good fund. But is it still? I don't know. I mean, but if it's American funds and you're okay with the European Pacific exposure and the risk that comes with owning stocks, yeah, more power to you, man. I get no problem. I mean, it's American funds, a good firm. Look, American funds, tough to go wrong with American funds for the long-term investor, man. I mean, when I say long-term investor, not just 1 to 3 years. Yeah, see, look, all the people say no eyepiece. Isn't that correct? Pockets are empty. That's funny. So how can we all think that there is the eyepiece, and yet we all think that? He has nobody. He went to a gas station on Park Place. Oh my goodness, that's Joshua, man, bringing the humor. Love it. Oh my, see, look, we got a guy. We're all wrong except for my man retired and loving it. He was a good guy, but everyone else is wrong. We've all been misremembering Monopoly Man with a monocle because it's Mr. Peanut. Come on, man, you can't possibly think that. Everyone else is wrong, except for some people say we all envision Mr. Peanut putting the monocle on the Monopoly. No. What I did another thing the other day about if you build it, they will come, and or what I said, I can't remember what I did. I think it was like 70% of the people said if you build it, they will come, and it doesn't say that anymore. Oh, so here's another one about Mandela effect. What does Forrest Gump say about a box of chocolates? So let's go down. Life. What does Forrest Gump say about a box of chocolates? Who wants to comment there? Forrest Gump on a box of chocolates. I'll let you guys. My man says thoughts of retiring into a high inflation time. Well, you must have just come because I just went off of my man Robert in a loving way about waiting till. What are you going to do? You're going to wait until inflation goes down. When's that going to be? Tell me when inflation goes down, and I'll tell you. So thoughts of retiring in a high inflation time. Thoughts of retiring in a low inflation time. Thoughts of retiring in a mid. I mean, come on, man. Are you going to retire? If you're ready to go, you're ready to go. I don't. This whole thing about that's okay. I'm just saying. If you're ready to rock and roll, all right. So right on, Douglas. But what did he say before that? Or did you already answer that? No. What did he say? But Forrest Gump. What did he say before? You never know what you're going to get. He said, So right here, Harry says, and Tim said, life is like a box of chocolates. Did he actually say life is like a box of chocolates? Who says he said life is like a box of chocolates? Wait, he said, well, this is the line I'm looking for. Did he say that though? Life is like a box of chocolates. This is crazy. Well, he said that, but Forrest said that to the lady he was sitting on the park bench with. He said his mama said that. No, he didn't. He said life was like a box of chocolates. Now they changed it. Mandela effect. It's no longer life is like a box of chocolates. It's life was like a box of chocolates. Tell me that's not flipping nuts. We all know he said life is like a box of chocolates. We all know that. Watch it. It'll say life was like a box of chocolates. I don't have the Forrest Gump thing, but I mean that's what the Mandela effect does. It changed it in the past. Isn't that crazy? Mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. Mama said life was like he never said that. He said life is like a box of chocolates. But yeah, watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. He says life was like a box of chocolates. It's not the same effing thing. No, it's not. Did he say is or was? He says is, and now he says was. That is a change. It's not the same effing thing. You know, because you said it before that he said life is like a box of chocolates. Now you can't admit that you were right here. There you go. Now you can't admit it. You were wrong. But you weren't wrong. It was life is like a box of chocolates. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. But watch the video again. It doesn't say it. He says life was like a box of chocolates. Crazy. Something happened to change it. Oh, we're just misremembering it. That's crazy, man. Ooh, Underwood Farms is still growing original chilies and making their own sauce. Substitute sriracha made with original chilies. Ooh, that does sound pretty good. Pablo's very shy. If I squeeze Pablo a bit, make him bark, you'll get the other complaint. Oh, man. Yeah, Pablo is really chill. You sure he can't read? Ripple Ledger is going to work side by side with the Swift system. Digital banking infrastructure is placed. Full digital. Yeah, I don't know what that is. There you go. Vincenzo. The greatest roadblock to retirement is the next life, probably. Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I think online people are. I just think by and large people are still pretty chill. I just think people want to get by. That's it. All right. The problem is plain to see: too much technology, machines to save our lives. Machines dehumanize. All right. Brad Chabab, strong Christian projectors of my man for life. 47 years. Man, he could have been on Edmund Fitzgerald. Isn't that song, the Edmund Fitzgerald? Probably Mark in the house. All right. Coming into us from the Philippines. He'll call me names in a fun way. It's all good. Ooh. Referred to as sriracha or rooster sauce with the rooster on its label. It's the original brand of sriracha chili sauce that originated in Thailand. That's probably is Thailand curry. I hate curry. Hey, missed the last 70 minutes. Sorry for this repeat question. I'm looking for a self-directed IRA, but costs like. Oh, I'm looking at a self-directed IRA, but costs us $750 a year, whether it makes money or not. How much you got? Well, don't say how much you got in there. I mean, if you got 10,000 in there, that's freaking crazy expensive. If you got 50,000 in there, yeah, well, that seems. Oops. Bye. 50,000. Yeah, if you got 50,000 in there, it's only 15 basis points. But I don't know I don't know if that includes underlying investment expenses or what. I don't know that. Yeah, you just go to Vanguard and buy some at Vanguard. No big deal. That way you don't have to pay that. So Vanguard, the Vanguard Wellington Fund, we'll just say 50,000. I think it's 23 basis points. It's going to cost you $115 a year. Yeah, so that's pretty cheap. Pretty cheap. Oh man, made my own hot sauce from peppers can be very caustic. Mr. Roboto taking a dump when you should know better. Abba was more 70s. Oh, Wellesley, yep. Wow, the people of next to the Siriachi plant have health issues from it. That's crazy. Cash is king. Hey, federal money market actually up to 79 basis points. Beats Wellington and Wellesley? What are you talking about, man? So the money market beats Wellington and Wellesley? Are you saying that for real, Andrew? I think I know what you're saying, and I'm gonna shoot you down here. It beats Wellington Wellesley year to date. Wow, year to date, Wellington Wellesley is actually down. Who would have thought an investment could go down? But I mean, does anyone invest thinking that there's no downside risk ever? This is the problem short term. Look at the money market. I'm up 0.79. It's beating Wellington and Wellesley. Okay, for 3 months, 6 months, I don't even care, a year, I don't even care. But good luck with that. I mean, you could easily say the same thing in 2008 up until March 9th of 2009. It's beating Wellesley and Wellington, and you kept your money in that fund. And then in hindsight, you're looking like a sucker, man. I hate that short-term stuff. I hate it with a passion. It's doing better than this fund. I get that all the time. It's not, and I'm I'm not here to bash this guy. I'm just saying, oh, it's so frustrating. Because I'm like, beating for what time frame? Well, 1 to 3 years. I could care less 1 to 3 years, dudes. In this case, it's 1 year at best. I just don't care. I mean, 1 year. Hell, anything could do good for 1 year. Now you look at the USAGX, gold and precious metals from 2000 to 2011, the best fund that was out there. Yeah, I mean, you made so much money in that fund, and people like idiots put boatloads of money in. When? In 2000? No, in 2009 and 10, and proceeded to get smoked because that's the way it always works, man. Always works like that. No one knows the USAGX, the U.S. gold and precious metals fund in 2000 is going to be the best performer for the next 11 years. They don't know that until 10 of those 11 years are up. And they say, oh, man, I better be in that fund because Forbes just said this is the fund of the decade. Just stop looking at things in such a short-term, what's the word I'm looking for, time frame, folks. Don't do that to yourself because you're going to chase stuff. It's just what happens. Like, I get this all the time too. Like T. Rowe Price Capital something fund beat Wellington fund over a certain amount. And yeah, great. Okay, so then we're going to look at what can beat the T. Rowe Price fund. Then we're going to look at what can beat the fund that beat the T. Rowe Price fund, and so on and so on. Everything's within spitting distance of the markets, my friends. The market is just the average of all the investments out there. All right. Now if you can get close to the market, you're doing fine. You'll beat most of your competitors. Why? Because most of your competitors pay fees. So they get the average of what's out there minus the fees. And so we know, right here. I mean, this is just John Bogle 101. This is the market. Some things do better than the market. Some things do worse than the market. So we got better, we got worse, but we still got the market. And the market is just the average of all these different things combined. So here's the market. We got better than the market. We got worse than the market. And you average them, you get the market. All right. The issue is the things that are doing better and worse than the market all charge a fee. All right. So they all go to the left because there's a fee. So the market stays dead center because the market doesn't have fees. Maybe the 4 basis points for the S&P 500 index fund, but basically fee less. But the funds that beat or do worse in the market all have fees. There's all a fee associated with it, which means they do worse than their gross returns do. And yet the market doesn't go to the left. The market doesn't float. It just sits there, solid. Whereas everything else goes to the left because of the fees. And so now you have things because of that. The things that were before beating the market look like they're just getting the market returns net of fees. You're like, well, why should I pay your fee to get market-like returns? When I can just be in the market and capture all the returns, especially because just because you're beating the market this year doesn't mean you're going to beat the market next. And there's no evidence that a guy who beats it this year will beat it next year. In fact, I was just reading my man Webb Faber. Right? He sent an email today to his subscribers about a podcast which I want to watch that says, is there skill in beating the market or is it luck? Statistically, in a simple bell curve, you're always going to have someone on this side of the equation. You're always going to have someone who's beating the market. Now, Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, whatever. Whether that's skill or luck, if you follow this, you would say there's going to be a Peter Lynch, there's going to be a Warren Buffett. The question is, can you identify them before they are known as Peter Lynch and Warren Buffett? And the answer is no. So in that case, you just say, well, if I can't identify them in advance, there's no guarantee that Peter Lynch will be Peter Lynch in the next 20 years. There's no guarantee that Warren Buffett will be Warren Buffett in the next 20 years. So if I can't identify them in advance, I'm just going to attach to the market and capture market-like returns with minimal fees. Hey, there you go. Good stuff, man. Yeah, I think the kids want to rebel. You know what I'm saying? And they see the crap. They're like, they just want to rebel. And there's more ways to rebel now with YouTube and the internet and Instagram, Instagool and whatnot. But they see different points of view that before they would never see before. Yeah, you don't need fund analysis. I mean, just buy the S&P 500 or the Wellesley. Yeah, you don't need that for sure. So, I mean, a fund analysis, we're going to pay someone to do that for you? Nah, I wouldn't do that. No way. Retired from ExxonMobil. Damn, sold that stock at 64. Now it's at what, 101? Ugh. I think you gotta hit A, Brian. So what you gotta do is I think you gotta hit A, and then you gotta say type in Brian. It's working for me now. Maybe it's because I'm doing it. And then I know what you're saying though. Oh yes, there is. You got okay. I'm doing on StreamYards. You got to hit A. You type in like the first like Michael MIC, and it should say it'll give you the list of the Michaels that are on there, and then you hit them if that makes sense. Give that a shot. So anyway, hit the letter A. Type in Michael. If you want to hit Michael Lewis, and it'll give you Michael Lewis, Michael Smith, Michael Jones. You click on Michael Lewis, and then it'll show up. I literally just learned that. They have these meat subscriptions. You can lock in price for life. That doesn't change regardless of inflation. You just can't cancel the subscription. Ooh, jeez. Ooh. Yeah, I don't want to be tied in for life. That's for sure. How about I pay him a one fee up front and be done with it, man? Standing rib roast if Publix has them on sale. I grab them up. Yeah, man. Anything from John Bogle? Anything from John Bogle? What book to buy for managing investments retirement? Yeah, $10.99 a pound, Jeff. That's all it costs. $10.99 a pound. I didn't think that was big bucks at all, man. Relative to what they're having for regular ribeye. Yeah, I just don't care. I know that I literally the election is over. I mean, we're not getting rid of Biden. It's not nothing's changed. It's just I get it. We know what happened. There's literally nothing. I hate to say it, this kind of reminds me of the January 6th stuff with the Democrats. There's literally nothing we can do. I mean, I hate to say it like that, and I'm not throwing up my hands and saying, "Oh, just better better red than dead." I'm just saying what we can argue about this till we're blue in the face. Nothing is going to change. We know what happened. I don't need to see Dinesh D'Souza's. I know, and nothing changed. Brad Puffenberger still won the primary in Georgia's Secretary of State. I can't believe it. Brad Puffenberger. Now Jill would get mad because I didn't vote for Kemp, even though I thought I would. Now I am going to vote for him for governor, but the facts are, not that many people care. I hate to say it. I mean, enough care that they're gonna, they care about inflation. They care about making sure their kids are safe, which is one of the reasons I think 10 Republicans threw in with the gun control stuff today, because it's an easy win politically. It's stupid. It's not good. It's kind of like the bumper stock thing that Trump. It's just dumb. But whatever. I mean, there's nothing you do. So what happens is, and the 10 people you'd expect I was John Cornyn in Texas. But anyway, be that as it may. So the election was let's just say, because I can't say anything more, but a suspect. And as I always say, my vote here in Fulton County, Georgia counted. It just counted for Biden, and that's not who I voted for, if you know what I'm saying. Can I prove that? No, but come on, give me a break. This is I was banned for 2 weeks when I did my Excel spreadsheets of all the different how many more votes there were. Like I said 30 minutes ago about Minnesota. More people voted for Biden in Minnesota than voted for Obama in Minnesota in 2008, even though the state of Minnesota has just a fraction more people in it. And that's what happened with the absentee ballot stuff, man. And Minnesota is run by Dems, and there's nothing we could do about it. The only thing we could have done about it was to try to not to get all fearful about the stupid serious flu, which is what Fauci called it. But we didn't. And Trump went along with it. I'm telling you, to this day, I'm pissed. He came after Kemp. He said, "Why are you opening?" Because Kemp's like, "Because we have business to run." He came after Kemp. And I'm still pissed by that. And I was pissed by it, and I think it was in April of 2020. I did a video on that. I said, Trump's wrong on this. That was the biggest Trump fanboy there was. And after that, I started saying, I still like Trump. I the best president of my lifetime by far, except for the last year. But the last year soured me big time. That last year opened up the floodgates to some serious bad crap that can happen. With that said, in the ultimate scheme of things, I actually think it's a win for freedom as a whole. A lot more people are seeing, wait a second, which they never would have before. And it's good. I mean, so, we went through some tough times, but I think we're going to come out on the back end of this better off. And if Trump had to be the sacrifice for that, I'm okay with that, 100%. Because at the end of the day, people are recognizing Sniffy Joe is corrupt, should be in jail, frankly, and he's not running the country, and everyone's going to see that. I'm not that convinced. Some of this would not have happened under Trump anyway, to be perfectly honest with you. And as such, some of his blame would have gone to him and the Republican Party, as opposed to where it really lay, which is the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal has got to be the number one priority. It won't be, but it needs to be, and hopefully people can see that. When energy costs a lot of money, things go south. Everything goes south. It's just a fact. All right. After Uvalde, we contacted one of the schools needed breaching kits. I don't even know what that is. Take care of these kids. Anything we can do. Yeah. How about getting cops? It's crazy, huh? Crazy. Right on. There's Bill C. All right. We must all work together to keep our community safe. Lead by our example. Are you not keeping your community safe right now, Todd? I don't get it. Who's not keeping their community safe? That makes literally no sense to me. I mean, if Todd would keep his community safe, there would be no school shooting. I mean, think about the absurdity of that. If Todd Todd would keep his community safe, there would not be friggin' gangbangers in South Fulton County right now. Dude, this is the whole thing with gun control. Why it's such a freaking fallacy. Because it won't work. Because the only people who pay attention to the laws are law-abiding citizens. The criminals inherently don't pay attention to the laws, so they're not going to pay attention to gun control. I was really going to kill these guys yesterday, but gun control, I think against it now because I don't want to break the law to own a gun. But you just said you're going to kill somebody. I know, but gun control kept me from this. Is freaking stupid. And YouTube, I'm not saying that. Stop it. It's stupid, man. Doesn't make any sense. Come on, talk. Wake up, dude. Pull up. You can't do anything about this. People are nuts. Some people, unfortunately, it's sad. Maybe you should look at big pharma. Maybe you should look at video games. I don't know. Maybe you should. I don't know. But for Todd to keep his community safe, that's not going to change anything in Chicago, Philadelphia, Uvalde. Vaughn for president, looking for the pension health insurance for life. Yes. And then he can swim naked next to your Secret Service officers who are women. That's what Sniffy Joe did. Somehow he got off on all that crap, though. Crazy. Sniffy Joe was able to do all this stuff, man. And yet no one cared. Kind of weird. Hey, Judy B. Went to volunteer at the church food bank Saturday. We had good 2/3 less food available than we did through the winter. Absolutely zero fresh produce. There weren't even any canned beans. Eesh. I'm not sure if you asked me. I'm not on Obamacare, so I can't say that. Yeah, 100%. Well, I know it's going to get ugly, but 100%. Get cash in order to pay off debt. Could not agree more. Yeah, right on, dude. All right, Wyoming's August primary. Damn, that's like 3 months before the election for the general. In the interest of raising his kids in a better environment, my son just moved his family from Washington State to Wyoming, possibly because of ability to work from home. That's fantastic. Yeah, I 100%. Republicans just want to be loved. Just love me. Yeah, GOP is also progressive. All right, let's get out of here in just a second, my friends. Jenny. That work for you? Cool, man. Right on. We're already in a recession. I'm telling you right now. Stop thinking the recession is going to cause the stock market to go down. It's already here. That's what I'm saying. The stock market isn't stupid. The stock market says the recession is coming. Thus, we're getting out now before it hits, because we were going to take our gains, essentially. This is what the markets do. So this is where I think people make such big mistakes. When they raise rates, the bond market is going to drop. It's already happened. The minute they say they're going to do that, they literally telegraphed so everybody knows that come the next meeting, we're going to raise. Why do you think the bond market falls the minute they say the Fed's going to raise? Do you think the bond market says on the day they raise, oh, now we get a drop? No, they already knew this. The market falls because the market recognizes the economic pain that is coming. What's up, dog? Yeah, you want to get on? You want to say hi to everybody? No. All right. Anyway, so the market knows this. It's already priced this stuff in. That's why the market's down, because they see earnings are falling off a cliff. They know that, and consumer demand, which drives growth, isn't going to be there. It's just a fact. Well, you don't want an economy being managed. This is the issue. We don't want who do you want to manage the economy? The federal government? I don't want anyone to manage the economy. I want people to get the hell out of the way. Yeah, I think there's going to be 10% more downside on the stock market. But the stock market is not the economy, just FYI. All right. The stock market recognizes where the economy is going more often than not. I think they're pretty predictive. But the whole point about recession is coming, there's going to be more blood on the street. No, I wish people could understand this. The market bottomed out in March of 2020. Were we in a recession then? Yes. Did anyone call it a recession then? No, because we weren't fully into it until when? Until 2 straight quarters of negative GDP, which did not happen until August of 2020. Because August of 2020, they were able to look back in the second quarter of 2020 that ended in June and say, oh, we were in a recession after all. The market already come stomping back by then. So the market was down 33% in March 23rd, 2020. Q1, tough for anyone to imagine wouldn't be growth. But I guess it wouldn't be a downside. But if some people did, no one would say we're in a recession then because you need 2 consecutive quarters of GDP going down. But you can see that a mile away. The market saw it a mile away. Said Q1 is definitely in the bag as a negative. Q2 probably will be too. And it was. So it was recessionary. But people didn't wait until the Federal Reserve said, oh, we're in a recession for the market to fall. By then, it already came back. That's what I'm saying. We got probably another 10% decline. It's about 29, 30% down, which is pretty significant. But we've had 17 other instances of the market being down 30%. 17 other times this has happened. This isn't unique. It's just not, my friends. 17 other times that happened, and guess what? Has it always come back? Yes. Will it always come back? I have no clue. But if you believe in the capital markets like I do, that businesses, that's a fascist state. I mean, and that doesn't mean jackbooted thugs. It just means the government and the big corporations are scratching each other's back. But with that said, under fascism, there is profits to be made for the incumbents who control everything. It's just a fact, man. So we're already in a recession. The market is already reflecting that. We're probably still got some downside to it. Again, 10 to 11, about 11% or so. And then the market will recognize the recession is probably coming to an end because we've kind of wiped out all the fat, like I talked about. The economy is probably close to bottoming out by then, but no one will know we're in a recession until August of 2022, because that's when they'll see the Q2 numbers that come out and they'll say, "Oh, we're in a recession," and you'll be like, "No, now the recession's over." The same thing happened in July. It's so frustrating. July of 2020. The guy who is the chief actuary of Social Security Administration gave a talk to Congress saying how people born in 1960 are probably going to get killed on Social Security benefits because of the way Social Security pays out. Because he says Q2 could be a negative and Q3 could be negative too. And if that were the case, the numbers for the average wage index will go down. If the AWI goes down, then those people born in that year get smoked. It's stupid, a stupid rule. His problem was, and I had done videos on this, my friends. You can see I'd done videos on this. We had already bottomed out in the middle of June of 2020. We've already bottomed out. You can see that. Thus, the growth was back. We knew that. Q3 growth was through the roof, a hell of a lot more than anyone predicted. But that started in Q2 of 2020. Actually started about the first or second week of June of 2020, which is the back end of Q2. Which meant what that guy said, the Social Security actuary, which got everyone all fired up, like, "Oh my goodness, we're all gonna die." The guy was wrong because he was assuming it was still gonna be going down, but we had the numbers to show you it was not going down anymore. That's so frustrating. And people just lost they were like, "Oh my goodness, we're going to lose 9% a year in my Social Security payment forever." And you're like, "No, you're not," because the Q3 is going to be growth oriented, which means recession is over, which means there will probably be an increase in AWI. And it turned out Q3 and Q4 2020 were good, much better than anyone anticipated. But even AARP was writing articles about this in November of 2020 and December 2020. It's just fake crap. Because people don't pay attention, man. They don't. That's what pisses me off. People are like, "Oh my goodness, recession's here." Like, yeah, the recession means we had 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP. You won't know that definitively until you're well outside of that time frame. Now, we could be in a 3-quarter recession, I grant you. But even then, you knew you were in a recession. Why? Because the previous 2 quarters were down. Q4 of 2021 was growth. Q1 2021 was negative. Q2 of 2022, will it be negative? That will what determine a recession. If it's negative, we are in a recession. I fully anticipate it. All right, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here, my friends. My kid wants to watch a show, so ready to let you guys get out of here. Pablo's being a knucklehead. Appreciate y'all being here. God bless. Look at this guy. Lightning versus Avs, baby. I'm going for the Avs. I'm sick of the Lightning. They kicks my butt. Freaking Lightning. My prediction for Social Care for those born in '63 is going to be booming, baby. Booming. All right. Peace out, guys. Thanks for being here. Remember, the Monopoly Man had a monocle. Forrest Gump said, life is like a box of chocolates. You know what I'm saying? Lots of things that the Mandela effects is true. Something happens. Think, but just real quick, I'll let you go. These two dogs right here, they communicate in ways we can't recognize. It's like some kind of different dimension element, something out there, brainwave that we don't see. Like they communicate without any words, any barking. There's something that they do, like some kind of brainwave. It's nuts. The idea that there isn't something else that's out there beyond our ability to comprehend. I mean, it's God, and God controls all things. But I just wish people would give God more respect, frankly. I mean, think about it. These two dogs communicate without me knowing what the hell. How do they do that? I don't know, but I see with my own eyes that they're communicating. It's nuts. So, what is out there? You're telling me there couldn't be something that changes things from the past, or something that I don't know what it is. You tell me God, who's all powerful, all encompassing of everything, is like, yeah, I didn't think that was going to happen. That was surprising to me. Or yeah, no, I don't control. Anyway, I just think give God more respect, man, because God, man, woo, Nelly, whew, he runs everything, everything, and he wants a relationship with us all. He loves us all. All right, we'll let you go. We'll see you guys. Good night. All right, Fingley.